they're doing that with this, where the ROG Ally X is $900. $900, whereas the base model version is $550. Immediately, all the replies were like, bro, this thing is dead. I'm not a console warrior. This price does not make sense.
But you people had no problem spending $700 to $800 on a PS5 Pro, acting as if you're obligated to get those enhancements. Well, then if you have a problem, then pick up the one at $549. What are you people talking about, bro? If people want to have better hardware, well then guess what? Let them have it. But still, that Xbox Ally is still far more capable than what you're getting with the Switch 2 at $500. And you people's out here complaining? You know what? You're like, Gamester. You see, that is a valid point. The real question should be as to why the Nintendo Switch 2 is $500 if this is only $550. Y'all like, oh snap, yeah, you're right. I mean, and on top of that, you're getting far more storage space. You know what? There's nothing that needs to be said anymore. You Nintendo gamers are stupid. You was out here paying, what, upwards to $50 so you can play some GameCube games that you more likely can emulate on this device while also having access to games of different services. I mean, come on, man. At this point, to me, I don't want no Switch 2 now. I'd rather get the regular Ally, forget the X, and guess what? That is still far more capable than what you're getting with the Nintendo Switch 2. So if you have a problem, and the funny thing is, we're going to get to his other video, like you try to make this video to talk poorly about what's going on with Xbox, just to find out that PlayStation 5 has also raised up the price too. Well, that's what happens when you're a fanboy, dude.
Now, I saw this interesting thing where Mischief here was breaking down, basically saying from the leaked specs of this thing.
I just like how they're focusing on the $900 model. That's like saying the PlayStation 5 is not affordable, even though you could pick one up for $400 digital. Or $500 with the disk drive. I mean, come on, man. Let's not do that, bruh. You know what I mean? Like I said, I think the PS5 Pro is a piece of junk, but you guys want to say that the PlayStation 5 is bad because people don't want to buy one. They just don't see no appeal to it. That's more of the niche audience. And like I said, $550 for what you're getting with this ROG Xbox Ally without the X is pretty impressive to me, considering that Nintendo charged $500 and you people barely got anything, and you still paying for online, paying for voice chat, things that probably won't even be in this new Xbox handheld.
It's a lot of detailed stuff, but it's not even leaked. Sorry, the posted specs of this from the raw architecture inside of it, the $900 model, for as expensive it is, it's actually worth it from a technical standpoint. Like, you are getting Dreamcast guy here, and this video is going to be very frustrated because I have to admit that.
Well, I guess it didn't age that well, huh? You really believe that Sony wasn't going to raise prices up in the West, man? I mean, we seen it going around the whole world, man. It was only a matter of time that we're going to hit the U.S. And now Dreamcast guy want to cry about PlayStation 5 raising the price. What is there to cry about? Don't you already got access to one? Hey, guys, let me go cry about the prices of the PS5 when I already have one. What are you crying about exactly?
I am genuinely annoyed.
Aww.
PlayStation has just announced they're raising the price of the PS5 again. Not just the Pro or the disc drive or the pack-ins. No, just across the board, all PlayStation 5s are now getting a dramatic price increase. Again, this is the second major price increase in
And why would that matter? Don't you already got one at home? That would only matter to the people that don't have one. And like I said, have you guys noticed something? What was going on, Gamester? They're doing this all in preparation of, if you haven't got it at this point, well, I'm going to tell you, Grand Theft Auto 6. Have you noticed that? Now all of a sudden they're raising it because now the consoles is more desirable. They know what they doing. They're like, oh, we're going to make more money off the hardware by selling it to these Grand Theft Auto 6 dummies looking for this for next gen. They're doing this all in preparation for Grand Theft Auto 6. I can guarantee that, on top of gauging the interest of their new platforms that will probably potentially be $1,000. We don't live in the era where they're going to drop the prices of the hardware. We don't live in that. It's either, this is how it's going to be done. The initial approach of the hardware will be cheaper than if you wait later down the road. That's what's going to end up happening. You get what I'm saying? What they doing, they got you trapped in no different than the phones. But even some phones get cheaper as time goes on. But Consoles, they're going to do it differently. They're going to use that, just like what they did with the Switch 1, by raising the price of the OLED. So they'd be like, why would I spend $400 on this when I just spend $100 to get the Switch 2? That's what these companies are trying to do. They're trying to incentivize you to move to the new product, or should I say impulsively buy it, before they decide to raise the prices. This is what they're going to start doing now.
The United States, region by region, they've actually been bumping up the cost, but I have to admit that this is partially frustrating because I have been reporting on Sony's financial reports. PlayStation has been making literally more money than they've ever made, despite the fact that they're making...
And they're going to make even more money by raising the price of the hardware. Ain't nothing you're going to say is going to change this.
That's in the last first.
You know what they did? They milked the hardcore. They got y'all jumping on the bandwagon. Now that they know you got the product, now they're like, oh, we're going to milk the casuals for Grand Theft Auto 6. They know even if you decide to sell it, they don't matter because they already got the money from you anyway.
Games, which means that they're not spending billions on development. They're not making major acquisitions. PlayStation is printing money because everybody else is putting their games on their platform. Why would you increase...
Which is sad. Because I thought people picked up a PS5 for exclusives, but then you go as far to say that, oh yeah, they're picking up everybody else's games. Well, there you go. Your PlayStation 5 ain't nothing but an Xbox Series P at this point.
The price of the
with no Game Pass Ultimate.
PlayStation, when the only thing even making you survive is the fact that PlayStation is over here being the primary place to play.
John Platinum removes 99...
Then making you survive is the fact that PlayStation is over here being the primary place to play.
Look at that. Look how stressed these dudes are. Have you noticed that? That's how you know you're getting stressed as a content creator in regards to defending these companies, when you're breathing heavy like... Like, what is wrong with you, man? You know, go drink a Gatorade bottle, man, and get your throat lubricated. Or do something, man. Out here looking like looking like SpongeBob when the man was, water, I need water. This dude ain't, he needs a thirst quencher.
Doing this, though, it feels extra egregious. It feels extra out of line. But let me talk about Nintendo does it, right? No, everybody. I think everybody is basically saying, this sucks. It sucks for everybody.
Well, guess what? It don't suck for me because I already got one. Sorry. What do you guys want me to do? Hey, you should be having a pitchfork. You should be defending the gaming community. I'm not defending any of you. As far as I'm concerned, I'm out here playing on my Sega Genesis, laughing at y'all in the back like, they think this is a console. Back in my days, companies was fighting for our dollars. Now you out here fighting for them and you ain't getting anything.
Tariffs, look, I'm not going to get political. The tariffs are deeply stupid. Everybody at this point realizes that tariffs are stupid, right? I feel like it anyways. It feels like a lot of the conversation I had from people I know that own businesses and stuff, it's really weird of charging your own people. Like, tariffs are paid by the importing countries. That means, like, they're just charging us more for no reason. And the work...
They've been doing that for a while. And you people haven't even noticed. Y'all ain't been peeping game. Y'all been stupid. This is going to be the new norm. And I'm telling you, you PC gamers like, oh, we out in the clear. Where do you think these dudes are going to go? Once they realize that consoles will cease to exist in the way that they want to, they're going to come onto PC and they're going to ruin it for y'all. And then guess what? You're going to be fighting with them. Because now companies are going to cater to these console gaming dummies that went to PC. You better hope PC gamers that consoles don't die. Because the day that the consoles die, they're going to ruin your platform. They're going to be like, oh, you know the PC gamers that like to boycott all their games? Well, not these console gamers. They're going to support it. I don't understand what, PC gamers, let's stand up. We're not supporting these games. And then you got 20 million console gamers that converted to PC that are still supporting these games that are going to make your platform even more anti-consumer. I mean, at this point, all PC gamers have is piracy. Because once these console dummies come to your platform, they're going to ruin it just like they ruined consoles before you. It's like God of War 3 on how Kratos tried to go after Zeus. Now he's taking out all the Olympians. This is what he's doing. He's angry. He's not happy with his platform no more. Now he's going to try to take over PC.
These companies know that they can just jack up the price now and blame it on the tariffs. I'm going to say that in a lot of these circumstances, I think specifically with Nintendo, they're lying. They're blaming the tariffs because they know you can get away with it. The tariffs exist. I'm not going to pretend that the tariffs aren't cutting into their profit margins, but they were already way, way in the green.
Well, they could be even further. You know what I mean? They could be even further than that. Why do you think these companies look at it and say, oh, let's do it for the consumers? They don't care about you. That is the illusion that you have put in your head that these companies care about you. They don't care. And this is what I've been telling you, man. They have no obligation to you like you think. They sell you product and you consume said product. It's that simple. It ain't any deeper than that.
PlayStation, they're absolutely just blaming tariffs. They're lying. In my opinion, they're lying. This is it. This came out what, exactly 5 weeks ago. PlayStation released a profit thing that said they've made $13 billion in profit, not just like gross revenue gain, profit. $13 billion in profit from the PS5 generation. That means that combining everything, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, every single generation before this was only $10 billion in profit.
But that's not good though. I'm going to explain why. I'm going to break it down. Like, I'm not into all this financials and all that, but I'm going to break it down. Have you noticed, this is how you know gaming hasn't really grown, and I'm going to explain why. The only reason as to why you see each generation that each PlayStation is making more money, it's because the games are, one, they raise the prices of the games, and two, the games that they're putting, the budget. Matter of fact, PlayStation 1 and PS2 is probably their most successful platforms because they didn't have to invest that much to get that $44 billion. But for the PS3 to get 71, they had to invest a lot of money. You know what I mean? Same thing with the PS4. A lot of that's through subscription services. And the funny thing is, PS2 and PS3 had free online. You're like, oh, snap, GameStop, you're right. So the fact that PlayStation was able to make $71 billion on a platform with free online, and the PS4 is at 107, which is what, 30 something over it. That's not that impressive, because the only reason why it's there is because the expensive games, the microtransaction. You got to remember, these consoles didn't have the benefit of the microtransaction DLCs and that 30% revenue that Sony's relying heavily on. Back then, it was timed exclusivity deals with this, deals with that, their own properties. In my opinion, the PS1 and 2 billion is more impressive than what they got with the PS4 and 5, because that shows you that it's just more of an over-reliant on free-to-plays, and on top of that, online games. Back in the days, PS1 and PS2 was mostly, even though you can play it online, mostly from just single-player games. And they weren't getting money from online. To me, that's not impressive. If you notice, they only increase by 30 every generation.
They have made more money in profit
because they're spending more money as well. That is the problem. And it's not significantly growing. This is why I try to tell people, gaming is not growing like you think. If it wasn't for these free-to-plays, I personally think gaming on console would be extinct. If it wasn't for GTA and if it wasn't for these games, I'm telling you, I think these consoles would have been down. Those third-party games is what's keeping these consoles alive, man.
The last
and the only thing keeping Nintendo alive is that they did the rabbit, the rabbit, the turtle and the rabbit race. They're like, oh, we're gonna just slow it down, but eventually we're gonna hit that finishing line too, like the rabbit. Microsoft and Sony was the rabbit, and the turtle is gonna win the race because they knew everybody. Oh, Nintendo should be like everybody else. Why? Because if they was like everybody else, they'd be going bankrupt too. You don't think so? You don't think so? If they were putting more money into their games, they make low profit game. They make low end games. Their games don't cost that much to make. A game like Super Mario Wonder probably only cost Nintendo $100,000, and they out here walking out with millions for a game that only cost them $100,000 to make, and they sell it for full price.
Years than every other console generation of PlayStation ever combined. You could 100% eat the cost.
Here we go. No. It's our property. You eat the cost, buddy. You eat it. Just like you keep eating them Xbox games. You eat it. You expecting a company to have to, we want the game on the cartridge. You eat it, company. No, you eat it. And that's what's going on now. These companies ain't playing with you fanboys no more. They realize that you have been lying them for years, and that's why PlayStation's putting games on Xbox, because they're like, we see all these PlayStation dudes on Twitter, but yet they ain't buying our games, ninja.
You could. You're choosing not to. You're just saying, we'd rather continue to screw the fans to keep our profits
You know, round of applause to the company screwing their fans, and everybody be like, "Gabe said that don't sound like a real gamer. Why would I'm not advocating for it? I'm just saying there's nothing that can be done. I've already been advocating. I've been told you guys the Da Vinci Code. I told you. I came down here as a prophet or a messiah to tell you guys as to what's going on with gaming, but y'all don't want to listen to me. Now it's beyond. You know, I told you guys within Genesis of gaming. You know, no pun intended, Genesis of Super Nintendo of gaming, of console war Bible, and you didn't want to listen to me. You chose to eat from the forbidden tree of microtransactions and free-to-plays. Well, I told you to stay away, but you didn't want to listen to me. You didn't. You know, now we're dealing with the revelation. Now, the planets, the gaming planets will be blown, and it would be no different than dust particles, and it would be formed in the shape of a PC. So nobody will fight no more. Everybody would be equal. Nobody would be separated. Everyone can see the gaming landscape if they only follow one leader, and that leader will be PC.
As much and possibly high as possible on the front end.
Hey, yo, this is crazy, bro.
There is a term I'm growing to hate called fiduciary responsibility. It's a business term that basically, legally, you have to keep increasing profits. I can't believe that's a law. I'll be honest, it's baffling to me. But if you are a publicly traded company, it is your job to only increase profits. It doesn't matter if it makes people mad. Doesn't matter if it leads to mass layoffs. Doesn't matter if it ends up causing your company to completely collapse in a couple of years. Like Target has obsessively been trying to maximize profits to the point in which Target sucks now, and the whole
it's a business.
Company is collapsing. The CEO has
I remember when McDonald's used to have the dollar menu, and I used to be able to take $5 and feed myself. I remember the days when I had $20 and I could feed a whole family at McDonald's. You know, I remember that. I remember the Happy Meal was no more than $2.99, and it came with a free toy. You know?
It left after being...
I remember, you know, what's his grandpa? I remember when cheeseburgers were 10 cents. I remember when you could buy a milkshake for 12 cents. And eggs, and a carton of eggs. Ain't that right, sweetie? Yes, that is right. You know, I remember you can get a refill on a drink for a penny.
CEO for 11 years because the whole company has been chasing profits so hard they just imploded. This is the thing, fiduciary responsibility.
I remember putting toothpaste on my dish. Now I'm just clowning. Toothpaste on my dish to get the game to work and read. Now it reads it through a server.
We have to increase costs at every single chance we can, even if...
I used to put my batteries in the refrigerator thinking that it would get recharged because I was too broke to buy rechargeable batteries.
It kills us down the line. What I'm curious about, genuinely, I just don't get it. The amount of people that are starting to only game on phones or tablets, or people that are just getting into retro gaming.
Games to what another W.
I mean, I'm at a point where everybody is so broke that if you said, hey, I can only afford to play games on my modded 3DS, that's the only...
You see that, guys? Now you want to talk about gamers being broke? Well, if you ain't broke, then support it. Remember, support the devs, the Dreamcast. You know, but I find it so funny that you try so hard to bash that new Xbox handheld just for Sony to spit in your face and say, we're raising the price too, kid. And like I said, man, that Xbox handheld at $550, even though it's equivalent to a Series S, right? That's way better than what you're getting with the Switch. I think that's the conversation that we should have now, is that, listen, Nintendo, I mean, you guys got game key cards. I mean, we already know it's digital on Xbox, handheld, or whatever. But $500 to $550? Come on, man. Come on. And paying for online. You don't have to pay for online there. Have access to your Xbox games that you buy on your console. I love this Xbox Play Anywhere strategy. Matter of fact, I can't wait to see what's going on with Gamescom, but I'll touch up on that a little bit more later on. But this is remarkable. You feel what I'm saying? Like, this is crazy. You could take your save file, play it on your Xbox handheld, take it and play it there. You could even take it and play it on PlayStation right now. This is amazing. This is incredible. To me, is the future of gaming. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, remember to go support the devs. And if gaming ever gets too expensive, just understand we have one thing, even though you guys call it a rental service. Game Pass for all the brokies out there. Take care.